When Ford claims that Ford, designed for living, engineered to last, a new story is coming into existence where the CEO Jim Farley has finally admitted the truth and warned the dealers this last time. Well, the CEO is happy with everything. Only one thing is bothering him for quite some time now, which is Ford's dealers. What's happening? Why is the CEO of Ford furious? For all car-related updates, you'll get first only here on Tech Addicts. So, what are we waiting for? Fasten your seatbelts, as we can see there's a Ford in your future. Let's begin. According to a story that was published on Friday by Automotive News, more than one-third of dealerships in the United States that sell Lincoln vehicles have decided against participating in a certification program that would allow them to sell electric vehicles. Following the lead of its parent company Ford, Lincoln instructed its dealers in October 2022 to make investments and improvements to increase the sales of electric vehicles or face the possibility of the company going bankrupt. According to Automotive News, Lincoln has announced that 356 of its about 600 dealers, which accounts for approximately 88% of its sales volume, have committed to this electrified future. According to the survey, around 90% of dealerships that are prepared to make the transition to selling electric vehicles are located in the top 130 luxury markets in the country. Each dealer will be responsible for spending approximately $900,000 on charging equipment, which will include 7 Level 2 240-volt AC chargers and DC fast chargers, in addition to additional costs such as training. The cost of purchasing 1 DC fast charger and 4 Level 2 units will be $500,000 for dealerships that are not a part of that group. The percentage of Lincoln dealerships that have chosen to participate in these initiatives is lower than the percentage of Ford dealerships that have chosen to participate in that brand's electric vehicle program, which is 2/3. According to Automotive News, Lincoln dealers who have also Ford franchises are required to invest in both programs in order to offer EVs for both brands. The response of Lincoln dealerships is comparable to that of rival Cadillac dealerships, which are also planning to transition to selling electric vehicles in the near future. Cadillac and Buick dealerships that choose not to participate in General Motors' EV program and make the necessary expenditures in charging infrastructure were eligible for buyouts from the automaker. About 1/3 of Cadillac dealerships made the decision to accept buyouts rather than transition into the electric vehicle sales business. By the end of this decade, General Motors intends for both Cadillac and Buick to have fully electric powertrains. Both Ford and Lincoln are working to get their dealerships certified to sell EVs for limited time periods. Through December 15, 2022, Lincoln's first enrollment period was open for business. Until the second enrollment period begins in 2026, dealerships that chose not to participate in the program will not have another chance to sell products under the Lincoln name. When the Lincoln brand transitions to electric vehicles, dealers that do not sign up will be required to stop selling Lincoln vehicles. According to Automotive News, Lincoln does not currently sell any EVs, but the company has ambitions to debut 3 EVs internationally by 2025, add a 4th by 2026, and have EVs account for approximately 90% of its total sales volume in North America by the year 2030. In response to Ford's proposal to sell electric vehicles, dealers in a number of states have voiced their opposition. Ford is in the process of modernizing its electric vehicle sales model, and the EV certified program is the first stage in this process. This certification is necessary for any dealer that wishes to offer electric vehicles manufactured by Ford. But because of the requirements of the certification, the automaker is now facing pushback from dealers who do not wish to participate in the program, but who will still wish to sell Ford's highly demanded electric vehicles. There is even a possibility that the dealers will challenge the automaker in court. The primary prerequisites for participating in the EV certification program offered by Ford to sell EVs at set prices and to invest between $500,000 and $1.2 million into the development of EV charging infrastructure. The number of EVs that dealers will have access to for sale will be directly proportional to the amount of capital they choose to invest. If a dealer does not opt to get certified, then that dealer will not be able to sell any of Ford's electric vehicles. According to sources, and as reported by Ford Authority, Ford is getting a significant amount of pushback in the state of Connecticut. This is due to the fact that both the Dealership Association and a senator representing the state have voiced their disapproval of the company and indicated that they may take legal action against Ford. Senator Richard Blumenthal was likely the most vociferous about the EV sales issue. He stated that Ford may be breaking its franchise agreements and that the Federal Trade Commission may need to examine Ford for its activities. The majority of dealers have voiced their disapproval of the high initial fee that Ford needs them to pay in order to get EV allocations. The inflexibility of the system, which demanded such high payments regardless of the size of the dealer, was contested by a number of dealers who claim that it may drive smaller dealers out of business. The pushback that Ford's receiving is not limited to the state of Connecticut. According to Automotive News, residents in as many as 3 states are participating in protests that are very similar. Teslarati attempted to contact Ford for their response but was unable. However, according to Ford CEO Jim Farley, the new strategy is being pursued to aggressively push dealers to accept electric vehicles and improve the company's sales system in order to compete with direct-to-consumer brands such as Tesla and Rivian. It is yet unknown what the next step will be for either Ford or its dealers. According to the manufacturer's most recent declarations, it is abundantly evident that the certification program is here to stay and will not receive another deadline extension. In the same vein, the loss of dealers can prove to be detrimental, not only to the dealerships themselves, but also to the brand of the car maker as a whole. It is important to note, however, that Ford will provide its dealers with a second opportunity to become certified in 2027. Nevertheless, it is still unknown what the parameters of this program would be. Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, made the announcement at the Automotive News World Congress that 1,920 of Ford's 2,968 dealerships in the United States have agreed to become Model E certified dealers and have accepted the stringent terms that Ford laid out in order to continue selling fully electric vehicles. However, this does not change the fact that almost 1/3 of its dealer network will not be able to sell even a single completely electric Ford vehicle beginning January 1st, 2024 and continuing till at least January 1st, 2027. We have a strong suspicion that the vast majority of dealers that rejected the Model E offer are located in more rural parts of the United States, where the uptake of electric vehicles is less advanced than other parts of the country. They might not see any negative effects right away, but we can't help but think that in 2025 and 2026, when electrification becomes more widespread throughout the business, many of them would look back and wish they had made a different choice. At the annual dealership meetings that Ford held in September in Las Vegas, the automaker dropped the bombshell that the Model E must meet certain certification requirements. Inside EVs was one of only a few news sites that were invited to get an early peek at the new guidelines, which included a presentation from Ford's CEO Jim Farley. In a nutshell, Ford instructed its dealer network that in order to become a Model E dealership and continue selling Ford's electric vehicles, they needed to make investments, evolve, improve, and provide new services to their customers. Because the Model E represents not just the future of Ford Motor Company, but also the future of the automotive industry as a whole, and because we want to be a part of that future, we decided to become a dealership for the Model E. This quote from Mendham, New Jersey's Maple Crest Ford, led by David Vorchheimer, the general manager. Farley discussed Tesla and how the upstart electric vehicle manufacturer has a price advantage of approximately $2,000 over Ford at the annual dealership meeting. He stated that Ford and its dealers should be attempting to decrease that gap, and they've been doing so. According to Farley, Ford needed to modify the way that it sells electric vehicles in order to remain competitive, and the first big step in transforming the way that it sells electric vehicles was the creation of the Ford Model E. Well, indeed, Ford has a better idea. That's all for today's video. If you want to see more such videos, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.